for Moto Hop on Air.
Welcome to episode 31.
31. Home ownership is so fun.
Yeah. We are recording this July 6th, 9:57 p.m. Kind of on time.
Yeah, our plan was like 9, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, we do have hot water again.
A week and a half later. I think it went out on like Tuesday of last week.
Yeah, a week and a couple. Yeah, I guess almost a week and a half.
A week and a
Yeah,
couple days
yeah,
is
yeah.
a week and a half. Wasn't
Yep.
supposed to be that long, but
Yeah, it is what it is. We may do.
yeah.
Got
The guy wasn't creepy who came, so
No, shout out Diesel Dave.
I didn't really talk to him, but
Yeah,
the dog didn't try to attack him, so I
No.
took that as a good sign.
good people. Dogs are a good judge of character, my opinion. Yeah, glad to have hot water again. That's always nice.
I took 2 showers today just for fun.
Yeah. Although we did force us to summarize the motorhome. Start working through some of
As well as live in it basically for a week in order
Yeah.
to just
which was good
see
in
the
some
quirks.
ways.
I mean, you spend a lot of really I don't want to say the whole reason. A lot of the reason of having something like an RV
Mhm.
is a bathroom. So when that's what you're using, like
Yeah.
I feel like you sleep in a tent, but the whole reason to upgrade is kind of controlled climate, but really a luxury of a bathroom. So when we're using it for the bathroom, it feels like you spend a lot of time there. Luckily, we had running water in the house, so it was just showering, but
Yeah.
it was definitely every time I went in there, I was like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. Like everything, the little luxuries that you lose sight of.
Yeah, it reaffirmed to me that we made good decisions when we were putting the bathroom in to the motorhome.
Yeah.
Which just again, I know a couple episodes ago we had talked about it. In hindsight, the fact that we bought the motorhome, got it back, put a bathroom in it, including having Byron over at Smith Off-Road fabricate a black tank mount and plumb it all in whatever it was, a month and a half.
Do you not remember how unwell I was?
I mean, yeah, but I
only-
feel like you're just always unwell whenever I'm working on a project.
Yeah, I don't
but-
like last minute. I also don't like
But
surprises.
like, I remember us taking trips to like Menards and just like brainstorming. Like there were,
I think I blacked out.
yeah,
I tend to do that under stress.
It's amazing.
Is that why I don't like Menards anymore?
Maybe. Oh, I guess before we get too far, what's in your cup?
I am drinking electrolytes. I got some Aldi hydration packets going on.
Yeah.
10 out of
Why?
10 chance I'll
Because
be getting
it's
up to
been
pee
warm?
tonight.
Because it's been like upper 80s
I just have had
for a week and a half.
zero energy this weekend, which
Yeah.
is kind of sad in the sense that it was a 3-day weekend and we did such a good job at not having plans to get stuff done. And I didn't feel like doing anything.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just worked on stuff
Well, you did.
for the past 3.5 days.
You did. I spent a lot of time holding down the dogs.
Yes, I
Since
also
it's fireworks season.
felt like
War weekend.
I know I did stuff the whole time, but it also feels in some ways that it was all so much little stuff
Yeah.
that it doesn't feel like I got anything done, if that makes sense.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah.
You gotta accept it. I mean, I spent, like I said, a lot of time with the dogs trying to make sure they were good while you were out in the garage.
Yeah.
And that's, I really took one for the team there.
Yeah.
The first night was the worst,
The-
actually.
The electrolytes are going to fix you, though.
Hey, you can't help. You don't know if you don't try.
Sure.
That's all I'm going for. And my other option was water, which is not exciting. So
Could have grabbed a high noon.
Yeah, I had one drink last night, and it gives me anxiety now. I just feel like once a week, it's
Weird.
fun. But that and like with
Life
all
gives
of
me anxiety.
Hey, you got to find your balance wherever it is. I prefer to find my anxiety in caffeine over alcohol. So I had my couple Nespressos this afternoon and was hoping I'd be all fired up. And apparently that didn't work either.
I don't remember being offered an espresso.
I secretly drank them.
Apparently.
I think you were outside. I drank them hot.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Slaving away.
Yeah, I just ordered so many more from Sam's Club. We are going to be set forever. And I'll offer you some next time, maybe.
Okay.
You're also willing to ask. You're allowed to ask for them if you want one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So what do you got?
I have my typical collection of drinks.
4.
No, 3.
And
This
water.
and this are the same.
Oh, okay.
So we have Southern Tier Distilling Company's Bourbon Smash, Ginger, Mint, and Lemon. I have what's left
I
in
feel
the
like,
can.
is that the actual name of the drink, or would that
Bourbon
be like...
Smash, yeah.
Hold on. Let me...
What?
That's not what I mean.
Okay.
I mean, if it was like a mixed drink you ordered out, wouldn't it be like a mule of sorts?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's what I was asking, like what the real drink would be. That's just their name of it.
Yeah.
Because it tastes like it should come in a copper cup.
Notice how the top of the can is copper.
I know, that's what I'm saying, mule. Yeah. I don't know what kind of mule would be bourbon, but... Hillbilly mule?
Bourbon Mule.
Okay. Now, usually there's like...
Kentucky Mule.
There you go. Yeah, maybe for real.
Yeah. Maybe for real. So that is one drink. We also have
that one's actually really good. I would drink that.
It is. Do you want the last little sip of what's in the can?
Sure.
Okay. My other drink is a Budweiser Zero.
I love how you take it out of the koozie.
I
Number one, to confirm to yourself.
Zero, or if it was called
maybe someday, if you get your wish of us like sucking it up and going on YouTube, everyone will get full effect.
Yeah. And then backup water, like always, right? And I think we forgot to check in at the end of that last episode. I did make it almost all the way through the drinks.
Well, I think you put a little more intention into it, thinking we were going to check in. Like you got a better start. I don't think you normally drink as much as you did, but it could also be because
the
it's
easy
hot out.
pirate just wasn't much. That was easy to breeze through.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah, Crisis of the Week. Yeah, hot water tank, that's done. Cool.
That was our crisis last week, too.
I know,
I mean...
But just the finishing the crisis. I've got other things we can call crises later.
Like your identity.
Sure.
Not quite. You know who you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, more like...
Existential?
Vintage days issues, potentially. But we'll come to those later.
Okay.
Vintage day shirts have been selling and shipping.
I've been debating on putting another post on the Facebook page. This will be the last one. I'm not going to bomb everyone, but being like one more, like, hey, they're shipping out in a couple of days. Like,
last reminder, order now.
Yeah, don't be the only one without them, but make it sound, like we sold thousands. But I also had the idea, and you can tell me if you don't want to do it now, because you were not as excited about it as I was. Don't
worry, I just spilled beer down the front.
I watched you and I tried to ignore it. Anyone we see with one of our shirts, we'll give them a free koozie. Why do you give me that look? What is that?
Because I'll give anyone a free koozie if they want one.
Don't tell them that.
Probably.
You gotta make them feel special. You gotta suck them into buying a shirt.
Okay, buy a shirt. You'll get a free koozie. As long as we don't run out while supplies last.
There you go, while supplies last. But I mean...
Or a sticker or something while supplies last.
Based on our downloads and the amount of people we know, like, we could give everyone we know a koozie at Vintage Days and we'd still have some left over, so...
Yeah.
Unless we're popular this year. We haven't realized it.
Yeah.
Maybe we're famous.
Scooter Skull shirts have started to sell.
Yeah, oh, it's the coolest shirt ever, so it should.
Is a cool shirt.
It's got three printed areas, which is, I think, the coolest part of it.
Expensive for us, but
yeah,
it's cool.
We don't make very much in these shirts, just so everyone knows we're not getting rich.
Yeah.
In case anyone was worried about that.
After shipping and fees and everything, after Etsy takes their cut, and depending on where it's shipping and what size you order, we're somewhere between like $3 and $5 a shirt we're netting.
Yeah. So I'm basically still volunteering my time, but it's fun.
The goal is to make at least $3 if all the stuff is in the wrong way.
Wrong way.
Like, if they don't click through the share and save link.
Oh, there's just so many
charges the
logistic
extra
challenges.
Percentage there, if they're in a bad shipping zone. And
yeah, so we
everything.
can't discount these unless someone else gives us a cut because of the way that they're priced.
Yeah, it's just it's.
But,
we could put it on cheaper shirts, or
but
we
it
could
is
do worse printing.
Honestly, though, it's $30 for a t-shirt, which includes shipping.
Yeah.
And I think that's nowadays kind of hard to get. Like, I look at shirts, and in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter what brand you're buying them from. A t-shirt is a t-shirt. And almost the bigger the brand, the higher the profit margin. But it's pretty rare to get a t-shirt, a graphic tee under $20. I feel like $30 is a pretty good spot. A lot of times I'll find a shirt I like for $35 and you still have to pay shipping. So
yeah,
I think it's pretty good. We didn't want to.
And if you want a shirt and you want to support us, so we make a couple extra bucks on it.
Instead of buying us a coffee link, just buy one of our shirts.
We'll just click through if you go to motohop.co /merch or click on the links in the navigation.
Just go to our website.
If you go that way to it, rather than going to Etsy and searching for our products, because we're transferring you over to Etsy, we save I think it's 4.5% or 6.5% or something. Etsy doesn't charge us if you click through our link. If you go straight to Etsy and just search for the shirt, or go through like a Etsy.com link instead of a motohop.etsy.com link.
Yeah.
So
Etsy is a bittersweet. For general basic things, when I had my sticker store, I got a lot of organic traffic. So I think as we get more shirts on there, it'll become more worth it. Because once you get the organic traffic, it's almost less worth it for people that are directly going there through us, because we could have a different type of link that we'd have a higher profit margin on, but our goal would be to reach more people with less specific shirts, and it's just not worth having two different locations for people to order from.
Then they handle sales tax and everything for me, so I don't have to deal with it as much. And there's some upsides to Etsy, but they do take a sizable cut sometimes.
Yeah,
especially if it comes from one of their ads.
Yep.
More merch ideas on the way, right?
I've got one. I think I kind of finished it tonight. I'll show it to you so I can get your live reaction. I worked on it today, and it was one of my least favorite parts of designing, which is like getting your files ready for print. So I had the concept down.
Yeah.
We're doing the possum riding scooter riding possum.
Yes. Possum on a scooter.
And I didn't like the full color version.
Okay.
So I went through and made it all outlines. The challenge is when you have overlapping outlines, like every shape is overlapping and you just don't see other parts of the shape. It's very logical.
Yeah.
But when it comes to designing, in order to be like, oh, I'm just going to convert this to outlines, you can't just delete the stroke. You have to convert everything to a shape and then delete the parts that overlap. So you may have like 4 overlapping shapes with one line, and you have to go through and subtract parts, multiple layers. I don't know if there's an easier way to do this yet. Every couple of years I Google it to see if there's been like a software update. It's horrible, and it just burns my soul. So, but I have it down to one color. I'm not sure the guy's little paws are resolved yet. But what do you think?
Yeah, agreed. Other than figuring out the paws.
Yeah, his little fingers are a little
it's
funky.
Pretty sweet that you got it down to one color.
I think it looks better. It's kind of like a more trending style.
Yeah.
I don't know that they have a glow-in-the-dark version of this, but I don't know that would matter. Like a glow-in-the-dark ink.
Yeah.
Outlook, but...
no, I dig it.
But I think it's a little more neutral. A little more of like a popular style that I've seen a few times.
Yeah.
And that will hopefully be up.
Yeah. Vintage Days prep has been in full swing.
Do you think about how long we prep for this 4-day event?
A lot.
You think about it a lot? You think about the time that we spend prepping for, or you just think about prepping it a lot?
No. I forget exactly how you phrased the question now, but we spend a lot of time
prepping for this 4-day event. Longer than we do for a vacation. Like there's more...
It's just more
logistics.
Parts.
Like our week and a half vacation took less prep than this.
And it's nowhere near as fun as Vintage Days.
Rude. I'm going to the beach without you.
I didn't say
Maybe
I
I
don't
won't have
enjoy
car
the
problems
beach.
if I go alone.
Maybe. So the motorhome thought I was getting the correct washer fluid nozzles from Summit. I did not.
Wait, did I know that?
I don't know if you listened to me talk or not, but
Sometimes. We're married. I don't really have to listen.
yeah,
anymore,
washer
right?
fluid nozzles were not correct. There was a bend in a wrong spot, and the tab was facing 180 degrees opposite where it was supposed to be. So cleaned up the current ones best I could and kind of like re-crimped the ends a bit. So the driver's side has a nice spray pattern. The passenger side is still just a stream.
Squirt.
Yeah. And then started checking on the engine, realized that the idle fuel mixture screws were like way many turns rich from where they likely should be, which then indicated that there was probably a vacuum leak, which I started checking, and I think there's multiple small vacuum leaks, but it seems to run. So if I get around to chasing those down, great. Started putting the new head unit in for the radio. Found house wiring and wire nuts in the dash.
Womp womp.
And have to redo some wiring because previous owner, whoever put in the last radio, did not run a constant power for the memory on the unit. So every time you turn the truck off, it dumps all the memory out the radio because it has no power whatsoever. Then we've been talking about whether we're still going to try and get AC done beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Did find the quick, dirty fix to the fact that the blower motor does not work correctly, meaning it would not shut off. So the whole time we were driving down and back last year, it was just blowing, Chevy big block heated 90-degree air that is then being heated by a Chevy big block. And then
I just
being
thought that
blown
was
in
the
our
engine
face.
heat. I had no idea the heater was on. I'm kind of glad I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't really think I lost anything by being naive.
It's stuck on either the lowest setting or one up from the lowest setting.
So not only did we not have AC, we had heat on.
Very light, but also went ahead and just pulled power to that for now. I'm going to try and take the dash apart probably Wednesday and see if I can figure out what's going on in there. So might just do some 12-volt fans like hanging from the windshield, or talked about possibly exploring like a little swamp cooler. Anything. The goal is if we can get to the point that we can drive with the windows up, it is amazing how much quieter the experience is.
Yeah.
Astronomically quieter.
I eagerly await that experience.
Let's see. Water filter got replaced. Remembered that I still have to plumb in the pressure tank. Not done yet, but sorted out parts list to do so. We decided for a storage solution because we've been kind of lacking storage, and we have this empty space next to the shower.
Mm-hmm.
You were exploring some ideas, and what did you do? Well, but you kind of led the decision.
Because I'm an organizational genius.
Mm-hmm.
Lockers.
Yeah.
Like metal lockers. I think having the magnets is going to open up so much opportunity. I don't know the correct word, but it's right next to the shower, so we can. I've already bought like magnetic little basket things that are used for spices, so people have a lot of magnetic strips and stuff that they use in their kitchen. So there's a lot of pre-made magnetic storage that we're going to be able to use. Even hooks for our towels in the bathroom, and probably can find a magnetic mirror very easily. And it's just going to be great because cubbies, you have to find a way to secure drawers or baskets or something to where there's a lot of bouncing around that happens back there.
Yeah.
That we need things secured.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see this in place. The only compromise we had to make is I wanted the vertical storage, like the cubes, the little, what do you call those? not really cubes, but the different lockers to actually, I would like as many as possible because vertical space a lot of times gets wasted. I was hoping to get 5 little.
A single column of lockers divided into 5 sections.
5 individual ones. Because that way, 5 or 6, that way you just have more options. You don't need, but we ended up with a 3 high.
Yeah.
Which we may just see if we can put shelves in each one, because that would be fine. But stacking your clothes, I don't know, 18 inches high is a little ridiculous. So we're going to just see how we can like vertically crop that space, and then we'll each have a locker for our clothes. And that's basically the storage we're referring to. There's tons, like there's probably more kitchen storage in the camper than we have in our house, which we could put our clothes in. But
yeah, just kind of weird.
No, and it's so easy to fill that with other things. We currently have like a helmet in one. Like it's not just kitchen stuff, it's easy access storage. Yep. So we've got cleaning supplies, like random stuff like that in one. We really only need 1 or 2 drawers for food. Because most of the stuff goes in the refrigerator anyways. But everything else will fill up with other utility type things. And then again, the one thing we always just ran out of was a place to put our clothes.
Yeah.
So
I don't even remember.
I think we just took our backpacks, like our hiking bags last year, and just threw them on the bed when we weren't in there.
They weren't even on the bed. They were on the ground in front of the
door.
The like door to the utility.
Yeah, they were like under the ladder.
Yeah.
And then
we just had them stacked.
During the day, we maybe would throw them up on the bed while we weren't in there, but it wasn't horrible because you only access them like once a day, but it's still a little silly. Like it'd be nice if we at least have somewhere to do that. Put them.
Yeah. We went to the 3-unit design because it was the only one we could find that had like a latch built in.
Yeah.
Because the other ones seemed to only be secured by having a lock on them.
Yeah, so they just fly open unless we come up with magnets or something. Yeah.
Well, and magnets only work until the contents inside weigh more than the magnet's strength.
Yeah.
Right. And then...
Do you need me to go boop the dog?
No.
You think she'll calm down?
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. She's so nutty.
Yeah.
I did give her a little something before we came down, but it takes a while to kick in.
Yeah.
I think she hears our voice.
Maybe.
Go figure, because she can't hear me when I yell at her.
Yeah.
But if we're a complete floor away, somehow her hearing reception gets really good.
Got to run the outlets that's going to go above the lockers, because we're going to do like a fan setup above the locker.
It's going to be so good when we're done.
To be both kind of a bathroom, quote unquote, exhaust, not really exhaust, but circulation to kind of move the bit of humidity from the bathroom around, but also help kind of ventilation in the front half of the
Yeah, we haven't really made the decision whether or not we need to put an actual exhaust fan in there yet. Our showers are so quick. It's not like at home where we have a ton of humidity.
There's no moisture buildup.
It's just a matter of, it does get stuffy because while our mini split is a pretty solid beast, it doesn't turn corners and the air just doesn't move in there. And it would make a huge difference. Are you going to throw a treat at her?
No, I don't have that ability.
Oh. But I am... One day this week, I think it's supposed to rain this week. So maybe one of the days or one of the nights we've got scraps of time and it's dark out, we should go out and backsplash around the sink too. Those types of little projects.
We did get stuff to just backsplash.
Spend an evening in the bathroom and getting that ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, they're both barking now.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk and I'll go up and just let them know we're not abducted by...
I mean, I guess, but all the rest of the stuff is your stuff.
Oh.
So we've got to run the outlet for the fan.
Yes. I wasn't looking at the list. Where are we? Fan, AC,
signs,
water filter, signs.
Yep.
The signs we ordered.
Things we did in the motorhome.
Oh, the signs we got hung up. I was thinking about the signs forgot about the signs we ordered for.
We did order signs. I did forget about that.
That's where my head went. So we ordered 20?
I think so.
Some of those will be available for purchase too. I'm going to be hustling this week.
I guess you're stressing me out. I just want to go enjoy this thing.
Oh, don't worry. My head is not stuck on it
constantly, and I'm like,
I'm not selling stuff constantly. I just want to be prepared if people ask, because we're going to have a lot of these signs out. We'll probably put them all over.
We'll come back to this in a few moments.
What? Our signs?
No, you and focusing on selling stuff.
I'm not focused
Okay.
on it. I'm just...
Anyways,
I have a lot of extra brain space. I'm just using some of it for that.
signs.
The motorcycle parking only signs we got ordered.
Yeah.
We have a lot of extra ones. Oh, you're leaving me.
Yep.
Oh, no. That's cruel. Well, we ordered like 20 of them. They're about 12 inches. It's a design I created that is pit bike specific. So it's not your traditional road sign that has the generic motorcycle on it. But since we are semi close to the burnout pit, which draws all the people, including those on 4x4s or golf carts, there was a lot. Side by sides? They're not 4x4s? No. Oh, I made that up. So all of the people are drawn to the burnout pit, regardless of what they ride. And honestly, last year there was a lot of people. There was a few people I don't want to say kicked out, but people on golf carts that were actually really nice that...
They at least asked.
Or I told, they're like, we park here. And I said, no, which takes a lot for me to say that because normally I just want to crawl in a hole. Yeah. But I said, no, you just can't get out. So it's not like, no, we don't want you here. It's no, like, it gets too crazy. You're not going to be able to get out. And they're like, oh my gosh, okay, well, how do I get out of here?
Yeah,
And
like
it's like,
people backed over bikes last year.
not last year. Was it the year before?
Yes. No, it was last year.
Really? I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
one of the golf carts backed up and hit a bike.
Oh. You made it sound like they ran over it. But people were honestly grateful that I was...
over.
But when I was like, no, you can't park here. You can't get out. And they're like, well, how do I turn around? And I'm like, my point exactly. Like, if
Yeah.
you think it's bad now, it's like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, wait till it gets worse.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. So people... It's not all that people had ill intentions. I'm sure some did. But there was a lot of people that were just there for the first time, had no idea what to do. You know, we're doing it to help them out. We can just put them in front of...
Everywhere.
Yeah. We'll just start from the front. Honestly, maybe we'll run out. People,
Yeah.
owner people will take them.
Yeah.
I said, maybe we should have... Maybe we'll put stickers on the little stakes or something at the bottom
Yeah.
that show who made them, just for marketing purposes. But we'll just stick them everywhere. There's enough of them. And they're not huge. They're really small. Like I said, they're 12 by 12 circles. They're only on a 30-inch stake. Hopefully we can get those into the ground.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yes. I was referring to, we hung some signs in the motorhome.
We did, but that's just basic
and
aesthetics.
We've got to finish the sticker board. We're going to get
Yeah,
a
I need to
cut
get
for our kind of...
Custom cut acrylic we're going to put into the insets on the cupboards. And that way, as we gain stickers from whatever events or where in the world we
events,
visit,
friends, etc. Yep.
motorcycle related, because we have multitudes of stickers. Maybe it won't be. Whatever we feel like
Yeah.
we're vibing with, we'll throw up on there. And everyone always gets stickers and says they don't know what to do with them. Highly recommend acrylic sheets. You can get them at Lowe's. You can get them cheap. They're really light. You could just hang them. You can get corners. I don't really know what they'd be called. Like hanging corners on Amazon or wherever else that would just hold the corners of the acrylic up. You can also use command strips that work great on regular walls, not wooden camper walls, I've learned. But regular walls work great with command strips and just hang them up. And then if you ever...
Move.
Yep, relocate, want to paint, whatever it is, you're
Change
not
your mind on what you want to display.
permanently distressed on what you did with them.
Correct. Yeah, it's a great option to use stickers for people with commitment issues.
Yep.
And then I worked on the spree.
That's been an adventure.
Got the tires done. Had this idea. I don't remember what day I had it. Of turning the spree, I don't know, into a little bit of ridiculousness. The AI prompts that I used to kind of make a finished image. Did you see it?
I did.
Of what was in my head. Involved the words off-road lighting, underglow, red and blue strobes, and party police decals. So, although we may change it to party patrol, I haven't decided. But the lighting is done. Both the
Blinky strobes.
strobes, the underglow, the additional fog light, headlight thing. And then last night took it for a rip and it started like bogging all weird. And then today it did it more, and it seemed to be starving for fuel, which it has a vacuum actuated petcock for the fuel, and a few Google searches led me to a forum thread that was like, hey, you should check your compression. And sure enough, it has like 75 psi.
What should it have?
Like 140.
Oh, noes.
Yeah. So it is getting a top end rebuild. It's sitting in my cart to order as soon as we're done.
Speaking of things that stress ourselves out.
Mm-hmm. What?
These ongoing, like these project lists that you never seem to resolve kind of stress me out. Like you just have to
But all my other stuff's resolved. This is a new item.
That's what makes it worse, is you could be done now and you're not.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to choose that. It's not like I picked to do more. But yeah, so busy 3 days.
Oh my gosh, I think I might have to go boop the dogs.
Yeah, she's not going to settle down.
She doesn't like you. You're not good enough for her.
Reflections.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, while you're gone, I'll lead a one-sided conversation for a two-person topic of the bike we're trying to decide for us. So we've been deciding on what to rotate in and out of the stable, specifically Vintage Days oriented. Couple years ago, we bought a Aprilia Scarabeo 150 from Phil CFMoto, and it's been fantastic. It's great for the two of us. Nice wide seats. It's got a top box on the back. No underseat storage. It's weird that I've bought 3 scooters now, and not a single one of them has had underseat storage. And Scarabeo is great. Good top speed. I think the two of us have been on it maybe up to like 65-ish. Faster than we really need to go. Just because of the Rotax 150, and that has a ton of power for its displacement class. But once we got the motorhome last year, the Scarabeo is basically at the width limit for the motorhome door. We can get it in, and we can kind of get it maneuvered around in there and into the wheel chock and tied down. And everything technically fine. But we've been throwing around ideas of finding alternate solutions. So we have a couple kind of criteria. The one is like, I'm taking the Spree because that's kind of the fun bike. I want something potentially for Missy to feel comfortable riding on by herself if she chooses. But we also have to have either something we both can ride, and or at least one vehicle that is plated to be able to ride into town if we need to go get something. And the Scarabeo has fulfilled that role because it is, both of us can ride on it. I never muted you.
Oh.
You just got up and like walked away.
Oh, well, she was a mess, and watch where you step when you go back upstairs.
Okay.
She was very unwell.
She was barking at reflections in the door, so I closed the door. So.
Well, she left us a present on the rug.
Great.
So hopefully I cleaned most of that up.
Okay.
Where are you at? I heard you want to go to be able to go to the store. Now,
yes.
One thing I noticed, so CFMoto was also talking about this, but there is a little bit of a different scenario with us is because there's not many couples there. So we do have a slightly different dynamic that your solution would be different if we didn't ride together.
Yes. Which the part of the discussion, at least that I've been entertaining, and I don't know that you have as much, as the whole, if I can find you something you're comfortable to ride, then we don't need something that is 2-person capable. We just need a bike that is plated and insured and streetable. That is no smaller than the Scarabeo.
I know, but it's a Vespa.
Okay.
Okay.
What does it solve?
Well, it has 2 seats, and look at the storage. Oh, boom.
A top box.
Okay, never mind. Carry on.
No, I mean, I'm not opposed to it other than, like, if you're comfortable riding that by yourself,
So you want a bike for both of us
no.
that I will ride? Yeah, I thought we were both fitting on it.
Okay. We need either A, a bike that we both fit on, or B, a bike you were comfortable riding by yourself.
Yeah, so that's very different. I didn't realize you wanted me to be by myself because I said...
You don't have to be by yourself. I'm saying it's an option. Yes.
Today I went through and poked at all of our existing horses in the stable.
Yeah.
And sat on the Rascal. And as much as I think that's like would be a great size if I was going to go be comfortable and ride on a street somewhere, because it's short enough for my legs that it's comfortable.
Yep.
Overall, it just feels too big for me to feel comfortable on loose gravel. Like, I want to feel a little more in control. I almost want a slightly smaller frame or not as top heavy.
Okay. Yep.
Strength-wise, I am not worried about me. It is
Yep.
control-wise on loose gravel, which I almost feel like we can't really predict. We should go down and scout it out next week.
Yeah.
We could have gone, last week they had the car races?
This week, most weekends.
I wonder if people
Most weekends are
who would
the
want to
same.
know. Could that be like an inside thing? Go down and... I wonder what happens when there's nothing going on there. Can you just walk in?
I have no idea, but it's pretty rare that nothing's going on at Mid-Ohio.
Oh, well, that's fine too.
And then the gates are closed the rest of the time.
I just want to like scoop at the campground. But something that we're both on, I completely am like, well, whatever you want, because it's going to be a bike that, or a mobile, whatever we're calling this thing, you would normally ride. Mm-hmm. It only incorporates me really on vintage days on the back.
Yeah.
So by saying that you want me to feel comfortable riding it, I almost don't even want to shop on Facebook Marketplace anymore because I need to sit on them. But I thought I could ride if we take the electric mini bike.
Correct. That solves that role.
Right.
Right. What I'm saying is we need the things we're trying to solve for is we have to have something that is plated and street legal. Mm-hmm. And then either A, something we both can ride on, or B, something you're comfortable riding on by yourself, right?
Needs to be street legal. That's just...
These don't have to be the same bike.
Oh, okay.
If you
I
are
thought you were
comfortable
trying to
riding the
solve for
electric
one
mini
bike that fixes everything.
no. If you are comfortable riding the electric mini bike, then we just have to decide what to take that's street legal.
Yeah, for both of us.
Because you don't have to fit on it. Because you can ride the electric mini bike.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand that, but you also talked about wanting something we can both sit on, and I thought that's what we were solving for. And I had just assumed as default it would be street legal. I was not solving for the street legal first as a main obstacle because I assumed that would be like...
For example, the one Honda passport that you found locally does not have a title. We both can ride on it.
It's not street legal.
It is not street legal.
Okay, valid point.
Right?
I kind of thought we needed title. I forgot that we needed titles for the street. I forget that you go on the street. You
Yes.
did once or twice last year.
Yes.
But last year was our first year camping. So don't rag on me for forgetting things.
No. I'm just saying. But what I'm trying to stipulate is like, if you have something you're comfortable riding by yourself, we no longer need something necessarily that we both fit on. Right? So the question is
but
what is your comfort level?
I feel like...
Is there even a possibility where that exists?
Maybe.
Or do you want to make sure that there's something you're comfortable riding on, right?
I feel like if we get big enough that we both fit on it, it might make me uncomfortable. Like, to ride by myself.
The one we both fit on does not have to be the one you're comfortable riding by yourself.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
We have space easily for 3 bikes, depending on the size of the bike. We may be able to squeeze a 4th in the motorhome, right?
Yeah, if they're little.
So the Spree is number 1 in my mind.
Yeah, because you put so much work in it, that just has to go.
Right now, the solution, if we do not acquire anything or sell anything, is Spree electric mini bike Scarabeo. Mm-hmm. Right? But that adds to my task list tires on the scare bay.
But I just feel like anything we buy is going to add to your task list.
Not necessarily. Depends on what we buy. If we buy the local Honda Cub that, depending on which pictures you look at, does or does not have peg rubber covers and has no passenger
That didn't have a
pegs
title,
and
though, so
doesn't
that
have a
one's out
title.
anyways.
Yeah. I'm just saying. It depends. Now, it's not entirely out. We could, for example, take the Rascal to be the street legal bike and buy something separate that we both are comfortable on, like that.
But then you end up
Cub.
with like 4 bikes.
No, that'd be 3.
But
Spree, Rascal, Cub.
or we'd have to buy the Cub.
Yes.
And there'd be no electric mini bike.
Correct. Yeah.
But we don't know for sure I'm going to be comfortable on a Cub.
Sitting on the back?
No, I wouldn't have anything to ride then. Oh, because I'd ride the Spree.
No.
Oh.
Do you care about riding, right? That's part of this conversation. Historically, you haven't cared about riding.
I don't know. We've
something
only
by
gone
yourself.
once.
No, we've gone 3 times.
We've ridden. We had... Last year was the first year we took bikes to ride. No, the year before we had them.
Correct.
I didn't ride that year, though, did I? You had the Rascal.
And the mini bike. And you didn't ride the mini bike much.
Did we walk that year?
More than I wanted to because you didn't fit on the Rascal and you didn't want to ride the mini bike.
Okay, well, we're learning, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, the front runners at this point are really
Would we both fit on this?
a Simba.
I can't tell how... These scooter
That is
seats...
smaller than you realize.
That's
but
what
we both could fit on it.
It's a
So
22
she's looking
buddy
at
kick.
Yes, a genuine scooter company.
The seats are
Buddy
so
Kick 125.
deep. It's hard for me to see... Like, imagine what a human looks like on it.
We've sat on those.
I've sat on them. That's right. They're small.
Yeah.
What about a Stella?
I'm down for a Stella.
Oh,
I don't
this
know
one.
that you are.
It's a red one.
Yeah, you're going to have to learn clutch and shifting.
Oh, I won't be riding this one then.
No, but
I
I
thought
will.
you said
I'll
that the
ride
one we both
daylights
were-
out of it.
But we both fit on that? Is that bigger?
Yeah, bigger than a kick. Yeah.
We both fit on it?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this is the one we were solving for. There's going to be very minimal instances if we have a bike that we both fit on that I will want to ride by myself.
Yeah.
There's way too many people, and your nervousness about me riding is worse than my own.
I've turned that off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm letting you do whatever you want to do. Not
That sounds
I,
passive aggressive as well, so
No,
that's going to make
but-
me nervous.
But not that I have to give you permission to do whatever. or
Not that
anything,
your
but
concerns are invalid, because
you
it's-
just
you're not as worried
hold
about-
it over me that I have concern for your well-being and
But here's the thing.
provide constructive criticism to your riding in one of the most chaotic riding environments I've ever experienced in my life.
So it is chaotic, and
Yeah.
I am a nervous wreck, and I get your creative criticisms on top of that. It makes me not want to ride. So if we had something we could ride together, a chance of me wanting to ride alone, like in the grand scheme of where am I going to need to go?
Yeah.
Any of the things that we needed to do last year, we did together. Whether it's finding valve stems, whether it's getting food, whether it's checking stuff out. We spend like the entire time together. So,
That's
unless-
not true.
well, there's a lot of times I stay at the campground and you go do stuff. So
Yeah.
I guess it's good to have
I
something.
took your e-bike over to look for valve stems last year at one point.
It's true, but I'm just saying the chance of us being, in the instance that we're split up, there's a very slim chance I'm riding while you're gone. Yes, it's great to have like an option, but if something like really dire came up, like I could find something between
Yeah.
the camps.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are less concerned with having something to ride on your own and more concerned with having something that is comfortable for 2 people.
Yes, because I feel like we could already solve if we took the electric mini bike. If I needed to go somewhere, that's good enough.
Okay.
So we could solve for that already. And then ultimately, whatever we get for both of us, I think once you pass a certain price threshold, I'm going in it with the assumption that we are getting rid of things. We are swapping things out, which we're on
100%.
page
That's already
with.
my
And that's why I'm like, okay, well, there's a certain threshold of like
Looping back to your wanting to sell stuff and focused on selling stuff.
It gives me a sense of calm to know we're not just adding expenses and losing. Already the garage is pretty full.
I can gut the second floor. We can
Get a
start
ramp up to the
stacking
loft.
vertical.
You get like a dumbwaiter pulley system where you store things up there.
That's my plan.
Someone should go up there.
Yeah. There's
We
probably
should-
raccoons up there already.
I would say we should send,
Gray.
10-year-old nephew up.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, he might he's not
Hey, he might
he's
wanna
not
make
rough and
20
tough
bucks.
yet. He's got a pretty cush life. I don't want to ruin that for him.
Yeah.
I think I just saw a mosquito.
So, I guess the front runners for 2-passenger vehicles are really Honda Super Cub.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
kind
that's
of
something
it.
I've liked the idea of for a while.
Because the Trail 125 does not come from the factory with provisions for passenger accommodations in the U.S. There are only third-party offerings for passenger pegs. The other Honda Minimoto that provides passenger accommodations would be a Honda Navi, which I haven't actually sat on one. It intrigues me because it's automatic and has storage. The Cub does not have any storage. It's semi-automatic, which I'm fine with. But in the whole, like, you riding it,
I don't think the
better than you learning clutch and gears at the same time. But
it kind of gives me mountain bike vibes of switching gears and stuff. Like I did
Ish.
that enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't intimidate me as much as the clutch does.
yeah. Which is also where the Simba kind of fits in. Because the only hiccup with a scooter is inherently most other scooters that are going to be comfortable for both of us are going to be similar in size to the Scarabeo. Right? Mm-hmm. It's hard for a scooter to be both small and big enough for two people. Right?
Yeah, and scooters are known just to be more comfortable. I feel like that's like their whole point of existence is cush.
Yeah. So, I guess we need to go find a Super Cub.
And sit on it.
Yeah. And I need to look up some measurements, and we need to see whether it's actually going to solve for anything, right?
Yeah, we almost need to go to a dealership or something to sit on one. I don't like the idea of reaching out to someone on Marketplace. Unsure.
No, sure. Agreed.
Don't want to waste their time.
Yeah. Well, any other closing thoughts on Vintage Days bikes before we move on to news?
Is there colors that are hard nose for you on the Super Cubs?
Yeah, that white with the powder blue.
Okay, yeah, that's a little emasculine.
Not even that. You just know I'm not a fan of blue. The dark blue white with the red seat I could tolerate just because it is like heritage-ish. But the red and white and the whatever it was like black with the red seat, probably my choices.
Yeah, because there's this one up in Cleveland. Minty
Yeah.
with the second seat already.
Yeah. As much as I like the look of the black ones,
Black.
yeah, they made it in like black. I think really though the red and white appeals to me a little bit more.
So green is number one, then red and white.
They never made the Super Cub in green.
Oh, that was the trail.
Yes.
And we opted out of that one?
There is no factory passenger accommodation for that. So we can make it happen.
Yeah.
But in the U.S., the swing arm is not pre-drilled for passenger pegs. There's some third-party clamp-on passenger pegs. I would love a trail. We've got to be okay with the price point of it, though.
It's not that much different. Well, you can get Cubs for a little bit cheaper.
Well, what we found is unless we're willing to drive like 4 hours, that little bit cheaper is about $1,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? So, I don't know. The hunt will continue.
Well, anything we're going to get on Facebook, I assume would be newer. No, and I know that's not 100% true, but I don't see a lot of like brand new Super Cubs being at Vintage Days.
No.
Not that you can't get good deals on old ones, but I'm saying like the newer ones, if that's what we decide what we wanted, unless we wanted to go cheaper and older.
Not that I need more projects before Vintage Days, but I'd love to find we'll call it well-maintained, but not necessarily immaculate, older Cub and swap a Prana 140 into it. The benefit of newer bike is just newer technology, especially braking technology. But, yeah.
Have you checked the Vintage Days?
I have not yet. I just rattled off a list of the things I've been working on for the past 3 days.
Okay, well, I'll check
Non-stop.
for you and let you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you haven't had minutes in between to
I've
stop and
glanced a
sit.
little bit, but I haven't had time to like sit down and scroll through the Vintage Days
I don't
Facebook
either,
groups that are just chaos.
I
at this
haven't
point in
found
the year.
any of them.
Yeah.
And when
Did you go into the second group?
I can't find it.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, supposedly there's another group where people just post what they're bringing.
Yeah. It is called.
This person posted a picture of the black. Brings up old.
It's like
ones,
black
though.
and gray.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the one. That's one.
It's much more enclosed. It doesn't.
No,
Maybe
it's
that's
the exact
angle.
same bike.
The angle's funky.
Yeah.
Facebook just digs up all sorts of old stuff. And then it also brings up a lot. Like, I searched Super Cub, and it brought up a Yamaha YZF R6. Like, what?
So the other group is, what are you bringing to Vintage Days?
Oh, how do people find that?
You go on Facebook and you search and you type, what are you bringing
I know,
to
but-
Vintage Days?
How do people know they're supposed to look for that?
They don't. The best part is I just searched Cub, and Facebook is showing me a bunch of Cub cadets that are not within the group.
It's so hard. Yeah, I got a bunch of lawnmowers earlier. Is that the
Yeah.
same? Yeah.
Probably because the U.S. market bikes were called Passports, I think, which also are not in the
old
groups,
ones
and now
were.
showing me a bunch of Honda Passports.
Don't post the same thing more than once a
So no
month.
search. You're just going to have to scroll through that group.
All right, I'll
right.
search it.
Onward to news.
Yep.
CFMoto is adding a fully fared version of the Papio. It appears to be it appears that it's going to carry the name X0-1. And if this was available right now, this would be our Vintage Days bike solution. Just because it is a sweet looking little mini moto. Just like the other Papios.
CFMoto is the manufacturer.
Yes.
Do you know where they're located?
China.
Not CFMotoUSA.com. It's Minnesota.
Well, yeah,
They're based
that's
in
the
China.
U.S. importer or U.S. arm of
okay.
them. But yeah, CFMoto is Chinese. Yeah, not big changes from the other Papios, just full fairing, very retro looking. I'm excited about it. I think some other people are excited about it. Harley-Davidon Japan, where I first started writing the notes for this episode, they were looking at potentially being fined, but it has now come out that they are going to be fined the equivalent of $1.4 million US by the Japanese version of the FTC. They decided that Harley-Davidon Japan had strong-armed dealers into meeting some slightly outrageous quotas under, I don't know, they will not necessarily direct threats, but suggestions that if they didn't meet these quotas, their contracts would not be renewed. And dealers resorted to stuff like buying bikes under employee names and then selling essentially brand new bikes as used bikes, taking a loss on those, and doing all sorts of things basically just to move bikes through the dealership. not a great look. I'm glad.
I think there's some accountability.
Yeah. It, sucks that it took the government stepping in for them to, fix this solution or fix the issue. The $1.4 million fine, it kind of seems like might be a bit of a drop in the bucket to Harley-Davidson, but hopefully corrects their actions.
Sometimes it's just about having that example.
Yeah. New Kawasaki is on the way. Maybe. Potentially. It seems to be disagreement across news outlets on what the bike is or is not. So, the first to report on it was Motorrad Online, which is a German motorcycle news outlet. And we'll see. I didn't think about getting the translation up before I started talking about this, and it's probably not going to work while I'm here.
Is that the German one?
Yeah.
You just have to hit the accept. And then it mine
to
properly
English.
converted.
Enable translation.
But the cookies thing doesn't convert.
Yeah. So they found... it looks like maybe they've updated the article. But anyways, California is where it's believed that they found the homologation documentation. But the model code is ZRT10GT. They, along with, it sounds like Visor Down is leaning into this as well, that it's likely going to be a retro-styled 1100. Cycle World does not see it that way. Cycle World is in slight disagreement with them, noting that the T in the GT portion of the model code just denotes that it's a 2026 model year. In that it is not going to be like a new Zephyr 1100 or anything. But we did get to see some new bikes from Suzuki. Did you take a look at these yet?
I don't think so.
So the Suzuki came out with two new bikes based on their, I think it's technically 776cc, but we're going to call it the 800 parallel twin engine that they've been working through their line.
Pretty colors.
Yeah, they're sharp looking bikes. I prefer the look of the the two models are the GSX 8T and the GSX 8TT.
That's silly.
I prefer the TT.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, the little bikini fairing around the headlight. And
it just adds, it has more used unique surface area. It's crazy how much different the shapes look when you put lines on them to break them up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's just like chunks of gold, bronze, copper, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But when you add multiple lines...
Yeah, the little decal kit.
Yeah.
Just
and the bronze wheels. Mm-hmm. That's like.
Yeah, so they've got two colorways of each, but the 8TT, whatever they're calling the green color.
It looks phenomenal. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's different. The first one doesn't stand out as anything special.
Yeah. But yeah, the 8TT. Yeah, they're doing like a hunterish green with some gold wheels. It's got some kind of similar goldish, and it looks like maybe gray stripes in the decal kit on it. It's just a sharp looking bike. I don't remember. I didn't put it in my notes what the MSRP was on this. I don't know that they've announced it. Nope. To be announced.
Secret.
But the good news is that dealernews.com got a hold of a letter that Suzuki sent out to their dealerships, initially citing or speaking to the Suzuki ATVs, but it sounds like there was mention of the 2026 model year motorcycles as well. Suzuki has told their dealer network that they will be absorbing tariff impacts. For now, just depends on what happens, I guess.
It's a nice gesture.
They haven't spoke to for
Better
sure.
than a sale, probably.
Yeah. They haven't spoke to exactly what's going to happen with the 2026 model year bikes, other than they're going to try to absorb tariffs as much as they can. But obviously, no one really knows what's going to happen with them. But if you're not buying a Suzuki, but you know someone in your life who is, whether it's a four-wheeler or otherwise, make sure they're aware of this. The link will be in the show notes. Don't let your friend pay a dealer a fake tariff upcharge because Suzuki isn't adding anything, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I get you.
Indian Motorcycle is working with a Native American artist, already worked with a Native American artist for some apparel. So the collection is the Indian Motorcycle RVSO line. And the artist name is Jeremy Arviso, hence RVSO. So I have mixed feelings. I'm glad they are at this point. I'm sad they don't do more of this as someone with Native American heritage. Like not that many generations ago. Like my great grandmother was the one who ended up moving away from Texas.
Married the white man.
Yep. But go away, pop up. So they've partnered with him. The proceeds from this collection are going to go to Change Lab. Change Labs is a Native American-led nonprofit. They support Native American entrepreneurs, specifically within the Navajo and Hopi nations. Did you look at the apparel at all? Cool.
I would say it's very modernized from what I expected.
Agreed. I think the bandana is probably the best piece.
If you go to, let's see here, you had two links, and the second one had a lot more stuff. That one actual on the Indian Motorcycle Company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a link to the actual collection.
I mean,
the hats are kind of
this person, Jeremy, worked with a lot of other brands like Nike and stuff.
Yeah.
From what I gathered, he is closer to our age. Mm-hmm. He's going to have a more modern twist, and honestly, that is going to generate more sales than something probably super specific to maybe his heritage. There's probably some psychology into finding a middle ground of being authentic and what's going to sell. And who knows how many ideas he came up with. It is kind of weird when I first looked at it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of just a bunch of triangles.
Yeah, so...
But it's kind of like, who are we to say, like, I don't have a valid opinion on what their representation should be. So if they think that it's good, and hopefully this designer is proud of it, because all of our job is to support that. You just hope that they have a good experience and feeling like they're represented in the design process that was driven.
Yeah, so the one article on Ride Apart mentioned, so he has Navajo, Hopi, Acamel, two others that I've not heard of, Odom and Tohono O'odham lineage. But so at first glance, I can see some kind of Navajo inspiration between some of the color choices and the pattern. It just wasn't as heavy as my taste wanted. But yeah, it's very much a modern take on incorporation of some of the Native American artwork, symbology. And
I just really think there's a balance in being authentic and being modern marketing.
Yeah.
And figuring out.
So it just leans a little more modern than my taste. But I think it's It's good.
Look at his Instagram.
No. I like, so my two favorite pieces are the bandana and the racing long sleeve.
He may just be, I don't know if it's what I can see on desktop because I'm not logged in.
Mm-hmm.
He may just be heavily, maybe he made this Instagram specifically for this collaboration, but it's all him on an Indian motorcycle.
Interesting.
But artist, designer, entrepreneur. Oh, and there's funds, like a percentage of each sale or something that goes toward
Change Labs.
Oh yeah, you went over that.
Yep.
He is founder of Original Landlords, recovering addict and sobriety advocate. Explore my creative work and wellness journey. Let's see here. I'm going to go to his website and see. But I think if you're a digital designer like that, you know what people want. Or if not, he probably came up with so many rejected designs that there's a compromise in there of what they want versus what he would have wanted.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, glad Indian Motorcycle is finally embracing the Native American community in some aspect, especially this current version of Indian Motorcycle. Yeah.
Yeah, also being people who are from Cleveland Indians realm.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of, I don't know, it's challenging because you recognize brands. You learn to know them from their logos and the name, and you don't really, I personally don't anyways, always think about what that name actually means.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming from a position that I don't really have any strong identifiers, so obviously people are going to have different relationships with those entities and titles and everything. Of course, most Clevelanders have never had a problem with the Cleveland Indians. I don't know if natives have had a problem, or if, again, it's one of those things you kind of just, I get used to and don't really think about it. And almost this collaboration makes me think about it in a way I never really had. They had the chief and stuff. I guess I disconnected it a bit. Of like, oh, it's just a word, it's a brand, and they obviously use the chief because why not? Like that makes sense, but I never really strongly affiliated it with the Native American population. Even
though it says Indian and their logo is a Native American with a headdress.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see like...
Okay. No, I'm just asking.
Nitpicking and making me feel bad.
No, I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
But I wouldn't hold the Native American population like accountable for something Indian Motorcycles did, though. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
I don't.
No, I'm taking it from the aspect of they've been profiting off of the Native American imagery without engaging the community, right?
That's true, but at what point, who begins responsible for that? They've been through probably multiple
Indian Motorcycle Corporation
administrations
and whoever holds the current trademark.
Well, I don't know the history of the company.
Yeah, but you bring up, first off, the Cleveland Indians are no longer the Cleveland Indians, even though a lot of us in this area are still going to refer to them as the Indians for a long time, just like it's Jacobs Field and the Gundarina. But Chief Wahoo was very, not even arguably, was a caricature of a Native American, right? With that being said, my family, personally, I don't know of anyone that had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Just because
your grandpa would have been the one to say something.
Separated from it. Like Dad painted a giant Chief Wahoo on my wall in my bedroom as a kid because that was the team we were following, right? With that being said, it was, like I said, arguably in a more modern time where we realize it's wrong, right?
I think it depends on
time to retire that in some aspect. I don't know that we necessarily needed to change the name of the team.
Yeah. I think it depends on how your family also would embrace that culture in their day-to-day, as if your culture has been very Americanized, you may not be as sensitive as people who are still like going to powwows and like super involved, like, and out west. I mean, honestly, just out west is way more like culturally defined. I feel like you're waiting for me to say something wrong. Like, you're just giving me a look. It's
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of powwows here. We went to powwows all the time, and it depends on where you are regionally as to what tribes are going to be most active in that area.
Oh, sure.
Right? There's not a strong Apache representation in this area because this was not historically Apache territory.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that whether or not, like, I've never seen your family as strongly integrated as you probably were when you were a kid,
Sure.
which would change that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is I also exist in a world where the other predominant heritage I have is Polish, and Northeast Ohio, while having a fairly strong Polish community, was probably, I don't know this for a fact, but probably was also the origin place of the Polish jokes, right? Which, you know, we kind of all knew of, and it's not,
Yeah, I think
pick your battles, you know?
Yeah, I think everyone got made fun of.
Yeah.
In the 90s, it was a cruel time before we all became a little more self-aware.
Yeah. So the next one kind of leans on just the ridiculousness of what. So we had the conversation of, if I was a kid now and had one of these like souped up e-bikes, would I ever transition to an actual dirt bike or an actual motorcycle or anything, right? So I'm going to, and I'm directing this more to the listeners than you, because I don't know that you're going to pick up on these stats, but I'm going to list off some stats, and we're going to see if you can guess what I'm talking about, what bike I'm talking about. 0 to 30 miles an hour in 1.7 seconds. Top speed, 65 miles an hour plus, from an 8 kilowatt rear hub motor that can produce a peak of 18 kilowatts. It's a 3.6 kilowatt hour battery with an estimated range of 55 miles an hour in sport mode, 75 miles an hour in normal, and 130 miles in eco. Features inverted forks, TFT display, and 17-inch tubeless wheels front and rear. Has a not even MSRP, the sale price of $46.99. Right.
Which of these stats is the most impressive?
Well, what I just listed is almost to the T, the Saunders Metacycle. Right? Very, very similar stats. The Metacycle featured a 4 kilowatt hour battery. Its top speed, I think it was more like 55 miles an hour, because it was, the original pitch was like 55 mile an hour top speed with 55 mile an hour or 55 mile range. So we're talking like electric motorcycle performance, right? And what we're actually talking about is the Onyx RCR 80 volt. This is an e-bike with pedals.
Does that mean it's a moped?
Not in Ohio, it's not.
Just because it's so fast?
Well, because it would be an e-bike, and it's too fast to be class 1, 2, or 3 e-bike. It can't be a moped because of how fast it is. But it has pedals.
How does this compare to the Cleveland one? Minus the pedals.
The Land Moto? Not super far off.
The body style. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the body style.
Yeah.
It's weird that there's nowhere to put your feet except for on the pedals. So, like, you always have...
It's a bike.
I guess I expected, like, a coasting position, like pegs or something in the front.
No. Just like any other e-bike.
So even exercise bikes,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think ours does.
No.
Exercise bikes at the gym, there's pegs on the front wheel that when you stop to rest, you can put your feet up on them. So it's got pedals and pegs.
Yeah, but like your e-bike only has pedals. Most bicycles only have pedals. They don't have a place to rest your feet. You put your feet on the pedals, and the pedals freewheel, right? So you can keep your feet in place.
It says an electric moped in the...
I know what they call it. And in some states it may be that, but it ain't that in Ohio. way too fast to be a moped in the state of Ohio.
I don't know what I
And
want
it's
my
also not
feet
an
like
e-bike.
that going that fast.
Do you want to do over 65 miles an hour on an e-bike?
It's got interesting tires.
Do you think people will be more inclined to wear an appropriate helmet or a
God, I
helmet at
hope
all
so.
on a bicycle that happens to do 65 miles an hour?
I don't know.
Right? This is where we're flirting with this weird place where I'm not necessarily one to always jump to regulation as an answer, but we got to sort this stuff out, man. At this pace, we're going to have e-bikes that'll do 100, like in no time. Like 0 to 30 in 1.7 seconds. 30, right? Like, that's fast.
There's just so much gray area.
30 miles an hour is the top end, roughly, of what a Class 3 e-bike can do. And it can do it, like, now, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's always going to be exceptions to every rule you put down, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just seems weird that we're making these. Who are they for? You know, they say 65 miles an hour plus top speed is off-road only. It's like, okay, well, we all know that's not true, right? Like, they got to say that because otherwise they can't sell it as an e-bike in places. But everyone's just going to unlock it. It's just crazy to me that this exists. And at $4,700, the Saunders Metacycle was around the $5,000 range. Like, put a VIN and pegs on it and I'd buy it, right? Just sell it to me as a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Don't sell it to me as this, like, crazy over-the-top, e-bike.
But did you say it's only in the UK, so maybe it would be...
No, it's not.
Okay. It says, well, the article is written.
Yeah, visor down.
It's LA based.
Yeah. If you go to Onyx Motors, they're here in the U.S. Yeah.
Something.
$4,700. It's got a crazy, like, the display's nice. It's got a nice frame. They show you how they built the frame. Like, legit, they refer to the forks as Grom style. It's a 40-45 inverted fork. Where front and rear disc brakes. The thing is just, it's basically a motorcycle.
Okay, well, hold
just
on.
put pegs on it, stamp a VIN, and give me a
I'm
title.
on their website.
Yeah.
And it does not specifically say either. That article, let me see what the description says.
No, all these guys play in this
Electric
weird spot.
motorbike is what this calls it.
Yes, because they don't fall into a category universally, right? It depends on what state it's purchased in and all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, you seem that have big feelings about the fact it's being called a moped, and that was only in the one article. That's not on their website anywhere.
No. I'm not. My big feelings is not that it's being called a moped, but it's also not an e-bike at doing 65 miles an hour. It does not fall into class 2 or 3 e-bike status at that speed.
It's not claiming to be an e-bike. This one says electric.
Okay, but what is it?
I don't know. It says electric motorbike on their website.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is like, legally, it has to be. It can exist in this gray area, and you can do nothing
how they
legally
title
with
it.
it.
Do you title it?
No, because it's a bicycle.
Oh, so are you allowed on the street?
Not at 65
I guess maybe in a
miles an
bike
hour,
lane.
right?
Or if you're just... I wonder how
That's
did
why
you
they
get an
say-
accident?
Yeah.
What kind of insurance are you going to be covered on? These people are wearing full face helmets in this video.
Do you
and they're
insure
listening
your
to cassette
bicycle?
tapes, though. No.
Yeah. That's my point. We have these things that are doing motorcycle performance, and they're not being treated as a motorcycle.
Wow, they show them going 60 miles per hour on this video
Yeah.
while they're listening to cassette tapes. Very AI. Oh, there's a flying dog.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed it.
No,
Did you watch this?
That. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, my issue is just the fact that this should not be called a bicycle. It should not be called a moped. It should not be called a motorbike.
Who's responsible, though? Is the manufacturer responsible because they're the ones making it, or does the legislation need to do something in order to accommodate for this new genre?
So,
like, insurance needs to do something. It's not
something
really
has to change, right? We've got to, I guess, pick somehow as a society how we want these handled.
Well, sure, but like, do you want people to stop creating them until that happens? Like, how do we, like, the gap is already there.
How many people who buy this do you think are going to pedal it?
No one, unless it runs out of charge.
Okay.
I almost said gas.
So if we're not going to pedal it,
They show people driving these on sand. There's no way those tires would go anywhere on sand.
yeah, hard back sand maybe. But so if you're never going to pedal it, at that point, it's what?
Yeah, it's a motorcycle.
Yeah, scooter, whatever you want to call it, right?
Well, that's fine, but someone, in DUIs. I don't know, can you get a DUI? You can get a DUI from being on a mobility device, so I would imagine you can get one on a motorcycle or a bicycle even.
Yeah, but you don't need a license to operate this. You don't have to have insurance. Right.
If you run over a pedestrian, you can't really file a police report. I mean, you can, but it's not going to fall under vehicle, right? Like,
What do you mean? Your police report's still going to be filed. You're just not going to be insured.
Do you have to be 18 to buy that? I mean,
Nope.
you don't even have to be
It's
licensed.
bicycle. No. Yeah, it's a bicycle. And they are offloading they're saying
Well, and this goes back
it does
to
65, but you can only do that off-road. And it's factory capped to whatever. But here's the instructions on how to unlock it for off-road mode.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How many of these do you think will be, I guess, how few of these will remain in stock configuration? Probably pretty small number.
Why do you think that? Most people buying these aren't going to know how to modify anything.
What do you mean? You don't have to modify anything. You just got to go into the settings and unlock the off-road mode. Right?
Oh,
And then
but
boom, now we have a bicycle that does 65. They advertise
Yeah,
it.
but that's factory settings.
Yeah, but I'm saying they ship it locked as an e-bike, right? It's capped to 28 miles an hour or whatever.
Mm.
They do that so they can get away with like, oh, this 65 miles an hour thing should only be used off-road.
Well, it's going to be a big problem
But they
when you
know
get
that's
some
not the
teenagers
case.
on these things and they get hit by a car, hit by a Tesla.
Well, they're already having issues with these in bigger cities. These guys aren't the only ones doing this. It's just, like I said, it's just frustrating to me because, like I said, twofold. Actually, this is interesting. It doesn't even look like it has to be unlocked. There's just speed modes built in. Eco is 20 miles an hour top speed. Normal is 40. Sport is 65 plus. And then there's a hyper mode that they say unknown. And they say normal, sport, and hyper for off-road use only. That's because 40, 65 plus, and unknown are all in excess of the classifications, the e-bike classification system. But like I said, I guess my thing is, at this performance level, one, there needs to be some type of training, right? Whether we want to call that licensing or not, financial responsibility, right? Like just put pegs on it, stamp a VIN on the neck, and sell it to me as a motorcycle.
Yeah.
The crazier part is that no one, obviously they can make an e-bike for this price. I'm sure there's some cost of jumping through the hoops to like make it legally a motorcycle, but it can't be that far off. Saunders almost pulled it off before they
Maybe you should
went
email
up.
them.
Yeah. I don't know. Just, it came across my radar. Thought it was pretty wild. Royal Enfield has resumed sales of the Scram 440 after they paused them. This is, I think, only in India. There was an issue with the Woodruff key in the magneto cover. Apparently the bike wouldn't like stop running, but once you stopped it, it wouldn't restart. But apparently they've sorted that out. Oh, and then the last of the regular news story. Do you remember Wendy Crockett?
Mm-hmm. She's in our camp, and
Yep.
she works for that traveling company.
So Wendy, up until this year, held a title of being the only woman to win the Iron Butt Rally.
Mm-hmm.
She now has company. Nicole, I apologize if I'm... Yeah, Muse. Has become the second ever female to win the Iron Butt Rally. She did it on a 2015 BMW R1200 RT. She finished with a score of 7,095 points, covering 13,238 miles over 11 days.
Oof.
So a little over 1,000 mile a day consecutively.
Oof, I can't even do that in a car.
Yeah.
What a beast.
Yeah. Pretty impressive. And then, we'll end on weird news. You had found this.
I'm going to click on this article to see how absolutely insanely fit this lady is.
Oh, Nicole.
Yeah, I mean, that can't be an easy task. I wonder what kind
I don't know that they
of
had any
physical
pictures
prep
of
they
her.
do. I found one.
Did you?
Wait a minute. This can't be the same girl. A physician assistant in Randolph, New Jersey. Iron Butt? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
They've got to have a picture of her somewhere.
Well, while you're reading, if we're not moving on to weird news, so I'll round out the top 10 finishers. Everyone rode over 10,000 miles. The second place was Scott Durham. He rode 12,284 miles. Mike Best in third with 12,347 miles. Ranging all the way down to Robert Bowman. Ended up in 8th place, even though he had the lowest mileage count of the top 10 at 10,711 miles. It's a ton of mileage.
So I ended up on a Reddit, as one does when they are looking for anything. They straight up don't have any pictures about this girl. It's kind of like name drop by, but there isn't recommended.
Maybe she'll be at Vintage Days. You can take a picture of her.
With her, of her. I don't want to be creepy. Vintage Rides. Proudly welcome world record Wendy Crockett and Motorcycles and Misfits podcast host Liza Miller, special guest coaches at Academy USA. Oh, it must be like a safety thing.
Okay,
Be
but that's not
crash-free
Nicole
there.
Muse.
It's not, but it was recommended in the Reddit that was suggested to me when I searched her.
Okay.
I can't help it, man. That's the only thing I
We're
had.
just spiraling on this.
I can't help it.
Okay,
I
can
got
we
distracted because
Can we move on to weird news?
I get excited when I see names I recognize because I still feel like I don't know anything. And it's like, I know them. I feel like Buddy the Elf. I know her. Even Liza. I'm like, I know her, and she's nice to me, and she knows me.
Yeah.
Fangirl over the Moto Girls. Okay, so I haven't looked at this in a few days, but Vietnamese coffee brand Bold 84 turns bumpy streets into baristas. So what they've done is created an experience that they sell. It's not just, who knows if the product is any good.
Yeah.
No, it's about the experience. So they've got these people on, did they say specifically scooters? It is a scooter. You order from this company and they take the bumpiest road they can to get to you, and it shakes up your espresso. So they show a video where the espresso is just in a can, in a cooler, bouncing around.
Yep.
So, and then they send you a video afterwards of like part of the journey that your drink went on.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is selling an experience that basically you don't even experience, but it's a novelty.
Yeah.
How cool
They're
is
using
that?
bumpy roads and motorcycles or scooters to shake up your coffee on its way to you.
Let's see here. Bold 84's new campaign, Shake Express, introduced its canned coffee by using some of the Vietnam's bumpiest roads to shake its 100% real ingredient brew and rote. So you don't have to. According to the new campaign, created the happiness Saigon in Vietnam, coffee is less a drink and more a daily rhythm, sipped on sidewalk stools, carried through alleys on the back of motorbikes, and woven into the fabric of fast-moving city life. Rather than ask consumers to shake it themselves, the brand designed a campaign around the kinetic energy of the city. Orders placed via microsite were delivered by motorbike using deliberately bumpy routes so the coffee would be mixed by the time it arrived. The entire journey is live streamed, turning a routine delivery into a local ritual. Shake Express, fun name, extends across short films that allows the coffee's ride through city streets and bold street banner placements that mirror pace and the pulse of urban Vietnam. And apparently they profited very quickly. Oh, in 72 hours, they hit 125% of its 2-week target.
Dang.
What is that, a day and a half? 3 days?
Say that again?
72?
Yeah, 3 days.
They hit 125% of its 2-week target, delivering at 600% the expected speed. Over 700 orders weren't just delivered, they were shaken by the streets and served straight to real customers, turning a basic product trial into a high-touch, high-sensation brand movement. Love to see it. Although the branding is quite loud, very purple and yellow. But that's what you gotta do to be noticed.
Yeah.
Be loud. How cool. I wonder how long they can sustain that, unless Vietnam just has
A lot of
the infrastructure. And honestly, probably the more that people buy in your area, the cheaper it would get. Like, I wonder if they have to change how they deliver. If it's like they're going in order and they do like a loop every hour or something.
So my question is, if the drivers are gig workers like Uber or DoorDash, are they compensated effectively to offset the wear and tear on their suspension from taking intentionally bumpy roads?
Well, I am under the impression that these are not random vehicles. Well, I guess this one looks like it could be. It's just strapped on the back. In my head, it wasn't.
Nope. Random purple and yellow crate
But give them
strapped on the back of
time.
an
They may
orange
be
scooter.
sponsored. If this takes off, someone's going to sponsor them and provide a vehicle. Like, they're going to be the official vehicle of the Shake Express.
Yeah.
And I would assume that they're more of like a pizza delivery person. Because,
What do you mean by that?
like Domino's, like, they're paid hourly by the company. They're not
Okay. I understand what you mean.
they're not like contracted or anything like that.
They're
because,
a direct employee of the coffee
yes,
brand.
because they're representing one company.
Sure.
That would be my assumption. I'm going to look it up. See if there's more data.
Just riveting.
I think it's great when they turn like an actual brand into an experience. So maybe if you like put our stickers in your exhaust or something and like put like authentic
What?
smoke on them, you can create an enhanced experience.
I have no idea what you're saying right now.
Okay, well, we're on different pages, but it makes sense
Okay.
in my head.
All right. Anything else this episode?
Buy shirts.
Buy shirts. We might have stickers. We'll probably have signs of vintage days.
Yeah, we'll definitely have some stickers. I don't know how many of them we're going to be selling, but we'll bring some of our surplus. We've got a few signs or designs that aren't on our website. We like to bring those.
If you have a bike for sale that you think would be a good option for us, or a suggestion for a bike we should consider for a addition to the stable / vintage days bike, go ahead and shoot that email to podcast@motohop.co.
Yep.
Or hit us up on Instagram, which I've been doing pretty good with staying up on Instagram stories, just showcasing what I've been working on.
Yeah, you don't post as much as I do, so your idea of staying up is like even a post a day is
I had
pretty
like
solid.
4 stories yesterday. Thank you very much.
Love to see it.
I forget what my second one was. Oh, because the first one was the wire nuts and house wiring and the dash for the radio. And the second one was everything's a vacuum leak. Yeah. Yeah, it's been nice having time to catch up on other podcasts. And thankfully, Pete and Swiggy over at NoCo dropped like 2 or 3 episodes in very quick succession. So I've been listening to them because I'm all caught up on CFMoto, and I think I'm only 1 episode behind on Motorcycles and Misfits right now.
Did you say they're selling the gyro?
Yeah,
Remember?
he had talked about
They
it.
kid.
Do I?
They kid. They joke.
I don't think they joke. I think he...
You're tossing it around.
Yeah, I think he's considering selling the gyro.
Interesting.
Gyro canopy.
Interesting.
Doesn't fit in the motorhome.
Interesting. It's okay.
Do you want it?
No. I'd worry about, like, probably the things that Gyro has seen.
Yeah,
It's lived a life.
it is. Yeah.
Hopefully it has some
It
good...
had a T-Rex inside of it a couple years ago.
That's true.
It did.
That's a legendary piece of equipment, though.
It is.
It is. If he's going to sell it, he really needs to do it at Vintage Days because it's such an icon. Someone there will see the value in its reputation and pay a little extra.
Yeah.
I don't know. We looked for them on Facebook, and they're not showing up.
Gyros?
Yeah, just
yeah,
for kicks.
I found a
like,
couple regulars, but no canopies.
I didn't
Canopies
see
are pretty
any.
rare. Yeah, we got one saved. I think they had it listed for like $2,500.
I looked
It was pretty
eBay; they didn't
minty.
have any. I just wanted to look at them again, and I think our algorithm's just jacked with all the random stuff I've been looking at.
Yeah.
I've been looking at a lot of random stuff. I don't normally go on Facebook,
Yeah. My algorithm's
and
pretty good. Last
today I
couple times
found a scooter cooler. I don't remember what it was called.
Wasn't it a cruising cooler?
The cruising cooler, which is pretty great. And of course, I have to like click on things and send them to people, which just jacks up my algorithm.
Yeah, my algorithm is messed up now. It was fine earlier today. I just opened it.
I just think it's
Top 4 items. I've got a diesel lawnmower, an 89 Fleetwood 21-foot Class C motorhome. Wow, that's actually a good price. $2,000 for parts or repair.
I would love to do an entire podcast about just
it came from
surfing
Facebook,
Facebook marketplace.
We should.
There's just so much random stuff on there, and it can't be just bikes. Like I want to talk about the cookie jars.
Yeah, well, $25,000 for a turnkey coffee trailer. We could sell coffee at Vintage Days.
$25,000. Mm-hmm. That's
It's
insane.
turnkey. It's done. Everything,
I get things
including
like
signage.
my algorithm today. I got a salt and pepper shaker that were hot dogs, like vintage hot dogs.
Yeah.
I had someone on my friends list that needed to see that.
Well, I just got another one of those trikes that's like the 1.5 person in the front row and like 2.5 people in the back row electric trike thing.
Oh, it's like a golf cart.
Yeah, kind of.
That would be super
For
fun.
$1,500. If we can figure out how to transport one of those to Mid-Ohio, maybe we'll
Oh
offer,
my
like,
god, that would be
tuk-tuk rides.
so good.
Yeah.
We could even clip a fan onto the back. Like, I'm sure you can probably put a cooler on the back of that thing so easy
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. That's what's hard is you want something that has good room for expansion. Like if you can get a cooler on the back, that's another thing. If you get a street mobile, were you able to put ice in the Rascal last year in the back thing, or what did you do with it?
I didn't take the Rascal last year.
Oh, the Scarabeo.
Scarabeo.
What'd you do with the ice?
I forget if I put it on the floorboard or the back seat.
So it made it back. It doesn't just like melt immediately.
Yeah, no, maybe I put it in the trunk because the run last year I got firewood, cigarettes, beer, I think an ice. And
I should hurry up and get my temps and just do like Instacart all week.
I think it was ice on the floorboard, firewood on the back, and then because the rest of the stuff was for other people, it was in the top box so it didn't get like crushed. I think that's how
You
I
barely
split
had
it
enough
up.
room.
Yeah, but it worked.
Yeah. And you
That
don't
is
have to
the
go that
one
far.
nice thing about the Trail 125s is just that big platform for like cargo.
Giant crate
But
or
if
cooler
we,
or something.
Yeah, but if we do that, we've got to get on it quick so I can figure out passenger accommodations for it.
So much pressure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by the time we podcast, maybe we'll have maybe by the time we hit the next one, maybe we'll have a solution.
Send us your ideas. Instagram, email, whatever.
Make sure you get this out there quickly so they can help us.
Yeah, it should be up tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay. See you on the next one.
Bye.